Okay, good evening, everyone. Wherever you're joining from, within Africa, outside Africa, it's our joy to welcome you to this anniversary, ASFI 2nd anniversary. We are celebrating today beyond little beginnings, counting our first 1,000 steps. My name is Bright Nwaro, and I am the convener of this platform, and I will be opening this program for you. Our time is 4 p.m. GMT, and we have to start so that we can send you home in time to prepare for the week ahead. So welcome. As we go on, please use the chat box to introduce yourselves and tell us where you're joining from. And of course, as usual, try to identify common interests, interact, network, and collaborate. All right, so to start, we have said this in many of our forums, seeing that our continent, Africa, lags behind in every possible measure of the indicators of development, except one, and that one is the frightening one, the rate of increase in our population. Apart from that, we are the baby. Life expectancy, we are the baby. Access to drinking water, we are the baby of the world. Extreme poverty, internet usage, secure internet servers. But when it comes to the increase in population, we are leading. And so this is the problem we have. And the question is, how do we manage this process? Sorry, just control my. All right. So we have said this over and over, as we have been mentioning in our platform ASFI. The fact is that our continent is not supposed to be where it is, given the natural, human, and other resources we have. But perhaps we have really not taken the bull by the horn. And so in ASFI, we think this is a time for science revolution, because Africa has known all kinds of revolutions, but science revolution has not happened. And why we say this is because in every human development, in every society, science is the path for development. And I don't think we are doing well in that area. So we need to have a radical change from our current path. Everyone is needed to play the role, but scientists need to lead the way, because that is what developed nations do. We need to move from the current knowledge consumption to begin to produce knowledge. Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. And we need to move from interventionist science to begin to pursue actively innovation and discovery. In ASFI, this has been the driving force, recognizing that there can be no meaningful societal development without science and research. But that science needs to thrive. And for science to thrive, the scientists need to have the right competencies, they need to have the right capacity, and they need to be in the know of the current state of issues that are happening within their sector of operation. So ASFI has been born as a child of necessity to support the rebirth of consciousness of the role science can play in our society as a people. Our vision is to raise the next generation of African scientists who have the right competencies to drive Africa's developmental agenda through innovative scientific research. If you have been following us, you will know that this is a passion we have. It's not just a statement. So we want to instill excellence. We want to provide a platform where African scientists can come together and discuss, collaborate, network, and pursue a common goal of transforming our continent through scientific discoveries and innovation. Last year, we celebrated the first anniversary in which we gave the story of little beginnings, that ASFI is a child that recognizes that within the continent, we have potentials. Within the continent, there is a wake-up call, for we have suffered enough. Within the continent, we should have a passion to drive our common goal. And therefore, we are here to awaken within the scientific arena a passion to pursue development through what we do within the four walls of our universities or research institutions to contribute to the development of our continent. And so far, in the last 2 years, one thing we have seen is that the big elephant in the room for increase in innovation and science remains lack of capacity building. There is passion among scientists, but many have not recognized the need for capacity building, regardless of the vision of the institution, regardless of how equipped it is. Without capacity building, it is difficult. And launching ASFI, we have come to see there is a strong hunger among scientists to build their capacity, and that is positive. And so ASFI is here, and we're here to fill the gap. We are not only here to train, this is a movement. And those who have followed us, we realize that this is serious movement we have initiated here, and we are happy that you have bought into it and joining us as we move. So we mentor you, we provide opportunities for collaborations, we give you hands-on strategies to build your career and to do excellent things in what you're doing, realizing that whatever you do must put the society in focus. So we're here to focus on Africa and to support our continent to grow in the right direction. We believe that it takes Africans to build Africa, and the era of looking abroad should be gone, because I think we have the potentials to change our current narrative. So we train across different aspects of research and help scientists to build their capacity. And so far, so good. We started targeting that within 3 years, we were going to offer free capacity building trainings to Africans, and we targeted 500 Africans within that period. But we're happy that as we celebrate today, we have already exceeded 1,000. And that is why we are celebrating beyond little beginnings, counting our first 1,000 steps. We believe that this is the beginning of great things, because we have seen a mass movement of Africans trooping from every nook and cranny of the continent, hearing the voice of ASFI and carrying it abroad, to the extent that within these two years, we have cut across 40 African countries. And that is our joy to see that you are supporting this. And so that is where we are. And I will just describe to you what we do. If this is first time you're having an encounter with ASFI, what we do to pursue this vision and mission we have is that we organize seminars and workshops that we continue to spur the conversation around the contribution of science in Africa's development. So we have what we call ASFI Science Seminar Series that runs monthly, and this has been there since the beginning of 2021, and we continue to do that. In 2021, we focus on highlighting topics around capacity building and career development. But this year, we have moved towards highlighting some of the research across different fields of endeavor that are contributing to Africa's development. In addition to that, we have a program, monthly program we call Dr. Wanro's Research Tips and Tricks. And this is a research clinic. We call it 1 hour once in a month, which we highlight some of the tips and tricks researchers can buy into in making their research activities better and more excellent. In addition to that, we have very popular hands-on courses. And as you will see in our program today, we highlight some of the feedback those who have participated in our courses are providing to what we are doing. And we have a robust mentoring program in which we create a platform where senior and junior African scientists can come together, think together, plan together, collaborate. And it's fantastic that the opportunity we have here, even though we don't meet face to face, you can see the brotherhood, sisterhood that exists amongst Africans. And we can see that Africans can do great things when they unite. And this platform has been fantastic. Our mentoring program, we have around 300 people now who have participated in some of our programs and have joined these programs and planning together. We also have research in which we research into topical issues that concern African science and see how we can use the result we get from those research as a basis to create more conversation and agenda for our training and seminars. All right, so I welcome you again, and please sit tight and celebrate with us this evening. All right, I will hand over to Lizzie to present the ASFI team. Lizzie, you are there?
Thank you, Professor Bright, and welcome everyone once again. Yes, ASFI is a movement, and we have the engine that makes our movement possible. We all know that it's difficult for a car to move without an engine. So I will be introducing to us today the team members who are driving the movement at ASFI. My name is Lizzie Edward. We have our executive deputy admin in the person of Ajibola. Ajibola, can you turn on your video so that people can recognize you, please? Thank you. Ajibola Oladejo is a developmental and a political economist. She's passionate about working with people. She loves creating and sharing knowledge to solve everyday problems. Thank you, Adebola, for your contribution to ASFI. We appreciate you. Please help us celebrate Ajibola for being part of our engine room. We appreciate you. Thank you. We also have our Director of Operations in the person of Mr. Edward King Oyenwak. He's a cybersecurity professional who is fondly called the King of Data Privacy and Protection in Africa. He has contributed immensely to the development of data privacy laws in Africa and across the globe. Thank you, Mr. Edward, for your contribution. We have Professor Longe. Professor Longe, are you here? Who is our Director of Information Technology? Please turn on your video so that people can celebrate you for your contribution here. Thank you. Professor Longe is a researcher, is an innovator, is a techpreneur professional who is actively involved in teaching, computing, and information systems. Next to Professor Longe, I will be introducing Iman Sob. Iman Sob is the Director of Science and Communications. Thank you, Iman Sob. Can you have your camera on and wave your hand so people can recognize you and celebrate you for your contribution to the ASFI network. Iman Sob works at Chest Diseases Department, Faculty of Medicine for Girls, Al-Azhar University, Cairo in Egypt. She received master's degree and PhD from the Al-Azhar University in Cairo, Egypt. She's a researcher, she's a clinician, and a faculty member. She's a member of several international scientific societies. She's a volunteer translator at the European Lung Foundation. She's interested in capacity building, volunteering, public communication. Research interests is in respiratory diseases, in infectious diseases, soft skills, and education. She's a certified trainer in soft skills, research writing, and publishing. And she's a reviewer and editorial member of some international journals. Can we celebrate Iman Sobha for her contribution to ASFI? Thank you, Iman. Next, I will be introducing a professor of professors, Professor Charles Ayo, who is our Deputy Executive Director. Professor Ayo, can we have your video on with a wave of hand so that our people here can celebrate you? Thank you, Professor Ayo, for your contribution. Professor Ayo is the Vice Chancellor of Trinity University. He is a renowned icon in the academic space who has created major transformation in the area of research. While he was working as the Vice Chancellor of Covenant University, he helped the university to climb up the ladder of top-ranking universities in the world. He holds a BSc, MSc, and PhD in computer science, and is a member of several international bodies, such as the Center for Business Information, Organization and Process Management, University of Westminster, London, the Review Committee of the European Conference on E-Government. Thank you, Professor Ayo, for your contribution. I am Lizzie, and I'm a global transformation catalyst in women's leadership, empowerment, and well-being. I am an NGO professional, social work practitioner, and I love to contribute to the development of the economies of nation. I am the admin director for ASFI. The last but not the least on my list is our visionary, our founder, the one who is championing this initiative in the person of Dr. Bright Unwaru. Can you help me give him a round of applause for this great initiative? That's Dr. Bright waving. Thank you very much, Dr. Bright. This is our joining him. Professor Bright is an adjunct professor. He's an adjunct professor with the University of Gothenburg. He's an adjunct professor of epidemiology with the University of, excuse me, a moment, please. At the University of Gothenburg in Sweden. He's an honorary fellow at the University of Edinburgh in UK. He has vast experience in clinical research and evidence-based science. Thank you, Professor Bright, for your work. We are proud of your work and proud to be part of this team. We have other team members who are working in our science. Can I have the next slide, please? In our science and communications. These are members of our Science and Communications Directorate. We have Dr. Ajibola Oladejo, Dr. Iman Sob, Dr. Bright Nwaru. We have Felix Anyam. We have Longile Kambole. Thank you, everyone, as I hand over to my colleague, Iman Sob, to introduce the ASFI 2-year report. Thank you. Iman, are you there?
Yes, I'm sharing. Thanks, Daisy, for the introduction of the team. Do you see my screen?
Yes, Iman.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, Iman Sobh, Associate Professor of Chess Thesis at Al-Azhar University, Cairo. It is my pleasure to meet you virtually here in ASFI 2-year anniversary. These are ASFI activities. We have science seminar series. We have courses and workshops, mentoring program, research projects, and Dr. Nawaro's research tips and tricks. Science seminar series during 2021 have the theme disrupting stagnation and empowering Africa's future. Each quarter has a different theme. We discuss several issues, including on being real African scientists, strategies for a successful African scientist, soft skills and little matters of successful scientists, and also other issues, including funding, communication, and collaboration. These are some of science seminar series during 2021. We discussed several issues and includes role of governments, role of private sector, role of non-governmental organizations, soft skills, role of women, and role of media and the public in scientific development in Africa. Science seminar series during 2022 has the theme of spotlighting research advancing Africa's development. We intend to focus on multidisciplinary research, communication, and collaboration, and highlighting results of research ongoing in Africa. We started with data safety, marine biology, and ion beam technologies and nanotechnologies. We also discussed dementia, discussed multidisciplinary research, where are we and what's the future, and also we discussed heritage and archaeology. As you see, these are multidisciplinary sectors. Then we have Dr. Nawaro's research tips and tricks. This introduced in 2022 a monthly 1-hour research clinic offering hands-on tips and tricks on topical research issues. These different topics discussed previously: research question, authorship issues, collaboration and research team building, quantitative and qualitative research, and also we discussed how to respond to rejection and what to do when your paper is rejected, and also on crafting scientific research presentation. We have also courses every year from 2020 up to 2022. Each year, at least 4 courses administered. These are hands-on intensive courses in various areas of research capacity building. Each course is 5 days, at least 6 to 8 hours per day. The courses included art of scientific writing and publishing, reproducibility in scientific research, research funding and grant writing, and systematic review and meta-analysis. These are some numbers about the courses. Systematic reviews and meta-analysis course in 2020 we have 110 applications, 40 participants from 10 countries. 2021, 910 applications, and we trained 210 participants from 20 countries. And this year, last week, we received 1,783 applications and trained 276 participants from 30 countries. The Reusability in Scientific Research course received 126 applications in 2021, and we trained 60 participants from 18 countries. And in 2022, we received 267 applicants and trained 120 participants from 25 countries. Research funding and grant writing in 2021 received 550 applications, and we trained 100 participants from 24 countries. And in 2022, we received 691 applications and trained 183 participants from 20 countries. And Art of Scientific Writing and Publishing course received 671 applications, and we trained 85 participants from 20 countries. As you see, total number of scientists trained from 2020 to 2022 are 1,091 scientists, and we received 5,123 applications. The participants of ASFI courses were from more than 40 African countries. They should have at least master's degree and intentionally multidisciplinary. For example, medicine and healthcare, social sciences, arts and humanities, agriculture and farming, commerce, mathematics and statistics, engineering, information technologies, and life sciences. They are also intentionally embrace diversities as gender, age, and career stage. We train professors, senior lecturers, physicians, and PhD students. The courses are transformational. These are some testimonials from what participants said about ASFI trainings. For me, this course was a wow. This course has the ability to change my point of view about Africa. This course is one of a kind. ASFI courses has given me more than I expected to success as an African scientist. I have been an enormous benefactor of ASFI trainings, and this had shaped my perspective about research. And one said, you cannot sit in ASFI programs and leave the same. There is a fire lighted in you to do more and be better than you came in. So this courses change your life. For more about participants' experiences and previous courses and seminars, recordings are available on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and leave comments, and we welcome your feedback. Also, after each course, we have a mentoring program. Currently, we have over 300 mentees working to consolidate the skills learned in ASFI courses and to develop new skills through communication, collaboration, and hands-on experiences. Also, we launched this year ASFI Ambassador Program. These are representatives of ASFI vision and mission in their representative countries. Currently, 34 ambassadors have been assigned representative of 18 countries. Constitution of ambassadors for remaining countries is ongoing. Please keep tuned. We have also research activities. Research into topical research and science issues in Africa as a basis to form further training and conversational opportunities. Example of ongoing ASFI research projects, perception and practice of reproducibility among African scientists, status and patterns of research funding in African institutions, and university-industry collaboration in Africa. We have also in progress ASFI publications. Annual report is coming soon. Monthly newsletters are in development, and ASFI book from Science Seminar Series 2021 is in development. Also, we developed the ASFI website, improved it during the 2021 and 2022. Please visit the website, and we welcome your feedback for improvement. In conclusion, ASFI activities continue to achieve its objectives. ASFI network is growing. ASFI activities improved to fit African researchers and scientists' needs. This is our vision and mission. We think next year will be exciting with additional programs in the pipeline, and we welcome your contribution. Please contact us and give us your feedback and opportunities for collaboration. Thank you.
Okay, so Prof. Charles Ayo, over to you to introduce the keynote speaker.
Able director, I consider it a great privilege and pleasure to introduce to this gathering today my dear brother, friend, benefactor, and a Pan-Africanist. To do justice to the assignment given to me today, to introduce to you Tim Akon. Time will fail me, words will fail me to describe him or introduce him. Permit me to break protocol and the profile already given. The profile is up there for every one of us to see. Let me start by saying that Tim Akon is an enigma of sorts. What to say about him is a function of from which perspective you are viewing him. I've known Tim Akon as getting close to 2 decades now, and he's been preaching no other thing but just one word: to make the world better, starting from home. What brought us together over some decades ago was just the fact to get my university students acquire extra IT skill that will make them competitive, not only in Nigeria, but all over the world. The seed sown then has germinated, and the success stories abound. Ladies and gentlemen, not to take much of your time, this thing is happening online. I will have asked him to stand, but that is not necessary now. The truth is that Tim Akon introduced me to Bright Unwaru, and ever since the introduction was done, I've been together on the side of Unwaru, and the success story is what we are all gathered to see. Can I say, simply put, that Tim Akon is a man with the golden touch. Permit me, I've forgotten the actual quote of the book. Whatever he touches turns to gold. That is a man who is associated with success in everything he's done. And we are so delighted to have him this afternoon address this gathering, which he's a part of. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, my introduction will be incomplete if I fail to mention the fact that Tim Akon is a man of many parts. I already said it as an enigma. He is the CEO, New Horizons Solutions Limited, the #1 IT training company all over the world with headquarters in the US. Aside this, Tim Akon has several other companies that he manages. Okay, now I've recollected the word. He is the man with the Midas touch. Whatever he touches is gold. You have his profile, like I said, already circulated. What I'm just saying is just a tip of the iceberg. But to get to know him, please read his profile, Google him on the internet, and you'll get more. Ladies and gentlemen, join me, put your hands together as we welcome Dr. Depending on which aspect you're viewing it from. The last time we met at a conference, he became a prof. So doctor, professor, and whenever you see him in, can I say village or time setting, he's still a chief. Remember I said he's an enigma. So the more you study him, the more of him you know. Tim Akon, it's a pleasure introducing to this platform. And what a joy. The first celebration we're having today, which is the 2nd anniversary of ASFI. Tim Akon, we are so delighted to have you deliver this speech today. Good afternoon, all the best.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I'm very pleased to be here today. It's one day that we've been waiting for the past 2 months since Dr. Bright told me, and I'm happy that all of us are able to make it today. Let me begin by thanking the convener of this event and the visionary. 2 years ago, shortly before he created this, and he delivered a lecture on the platform I also lead, which is One Africa Initiatives. And his lecture was one of the best we've had so far. I also appreciate Professor Ayo, my brother, my friend. We've been together for almost 20 years, like he said. So we coincidentally, everywhere they invite him, they invite me. Everywhere they invite me, they invite him. Most times they don't even know we are friends, but we always share stages together. I'm very happy to see your face. I'm happy to see Ima Sop. She also delivered a lecture on the One Africa Initiative in the past. I'm happy for you in Egypt. The president of Egypt is doing great. It's a pride to all of us in Africa that within 7 years Egypt is transformed. I look forward to coming to Egypt, Masop, and then I'm sure you'll be able to be my good hostess. I want to come and see for myself the transformation that is happening in Egypt right now. If African countries can emulate Egypt, I believe within a period of 20 years is enough. Even 10 years. Dubai was built in 10 years. So 10 years is enough for us to make significant transformation in Africa. I hope Bright will put my slides forward while I'm still doing the introduction. I've sent my slides earlier on. So, okay. I want to also thank all of you that are here today from all over the world. I've seen so many people from Cameroon, people from Tanzania, people from Ghana. So I'm very happy to see all of you here today. My name is Tim Akao. I'm the founder and CEO of New Horizons Nigeria, and also the founder and president of One Africa Initiatives. The topic I'll be sharing with us on the second anniversary of ASFI, it's science, technology, and Africa transformation. In the next 15, 20 minutes, I will be sharing a few slides with us on what I see as the future of Africa. Introduction. I start by quoting the first Prime Minister of Israel, Ben-Gurion, when he says that all the experts are experts on what was. There are not many experts in the world on what it will be. And to be an expert on the future, reasoning must replace experience, why science and research must be prioritized. And then I go forward to share this little joke with us to see why Africans, we have to change our attitude to science and technology. There is a reporter in New York who saw 5 guys standing, and he asked the 5 of them the same question. He said, excuse me, what's your opinion on meat shortage worldwide today? The Americans in the midst of those 5 guys, he answered him, what do you mean by shortage? Because in America, because they live on everybody's sweat, you know, they print dollars, so they don't know shortage. Although things are changing now with the Russia-Ukraine war, if dollar is no more the reserve currency of the world, then Americans too will begin to know what we call shortages. So the American guy says, what's the meaning of shortage? The Russian says, what's meat? Because Russia is used to see chicken meat, you see corned beef meat, you see this, you see this. And the Chinese man, you know, in China, they are the second or even the biggest economy in the world today, but you don't have an opinion. The Chinese man says, what's an opinion? Whatever opinion you have, just keep it to yourself. As long as you get money, you feed yourself, the society is building very well. So you are fine in China. So the China man doesn't know what opinion is. And the Israeli guy says, what's excuse me? In the sense that Israel, which is a tiny country, is the 5th most innovative country in the world today. And to them, there's nothing like excuse. They have 0 excuse. So to them, once a tax has to be done, it has to be done. If they know that the world has to go driverless car, it's an Israeli company that will create a mobile high. If they know that the world will have to go without with solar electricity, it's an Israeli guy that will first want to create that. So to them in Israel, there's nothing like excuse me. And our guy, the African man who was there that day, his own response was typical. He says, well, let me go and consult the oracle back home, and then I'll come and give you the answer. The essence of this is that in Africa, we've actually not fully embraced science and technology. We still believe so much in the power of the unknown. We still believe so much in the power of the mini gods and oracle and the rest of that. However, since time began, when it comes to the rise and fall of civilization, technology and science have always been the 2 most powerful critical factors. I try to trace the history of the world for the last 5,000 years. And then those are the things I put in the 15 slides I want to share with you. And it shows that the biggest countries in the world today, the most powerful countries in the world today, they're also the ones that prioritize science and research and science and technology. For instance, this slide you are seeing now, it shows us the 9 biggest spenders in R&D, in research and development. USA spent $12 billion on research and development last year, and that represented 3.1% of their GDP. China, which has the second biggest or the biggest economy, whichever one you think, some scholars believe China has overtaken US size of the economy. Officially, US is still number one, but unofficially, China is number one. So China spent $514 billion, which represented 2.2% of their GDP last year. And on Japan spent $173 billion, which was 3.2% of their GDP. The other one I want to point your attention to is actually South Korea. Or Germany, let's say Germany. Germany is the strongest economy in Europe, and it's also the biggest spender when it comes to research, science and research. She devotes 3.2% of our revenue, of our GDP to research. India is the strongest in Asia after China. It has 50 billion. After China, two countries are very in the last was still talking about 4G. China was talking about 5G. Not many people believe that South Korea already started researching into 6G, and their 6G is almost ready. And it's not a surprise. South Korea spent 4.6% of its revenue on research, on science and research. The only other country that does this, even though I didn't put Israel as part of the 4.6 that Israel spent will not spend that in research. Korea is the former champions. As they drop in the money they devote to science and research, they also drop in power and influence. If you look at France, France is dropping. You are going to see in the next slide I will show you. UK too is dropping. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, yes. The 10 countries in the world with highest number of patents. Patent is used actually to determine the strength of any country. The more patents you can file, the stronger your country is. But more importantly, the stronger your future is. The less patents you file, the less strong your future is. The more patents you file, because patent is about what is going to happen in future. So the countries that will rule tomorrow are the ones that are filing more patents today. When UK was really the world, UK was the one filing more patents. Now, if you see, in 2021, our surpassed. In fact, China started surpassing US in part. I started tracing this in the last 3 years. One of the articles I wrote 3 years ago, China, the economic class capital. In this, that China actually surpassed US. China surpassed US 3 years ago. And since that time, US has not been able to catch up with China. So last year, China filed 69,000 patents. These are new products that will come. These are patents in medicine and the rest of them. US filed 59,000. So this is about 10,000 below China. So that shows you why China is ruling, or why China is going to rule, whichever school of thought you believe. And when you see Japan, Japan has been consistent that Japan is the third biggest economy in the world. In terms of patent filing too, it's also the third. In terms of the size of the money it devotes to research, it's also the third. And when you say South Korea is coming very strongly. South Korea came fourth, 20,000 patents. And when you also see now, UK that used to rule the world, see where UK is now, 5,000. France is the most indebted country in Europe today, and it reflects in what they are doing right now in France. You can see about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, everybody in France was on the street complaining about no money to buy foodstuff and the rest of that. So everything is connected. So once you can link all these slides, you can know which country is going forward, which country is coming down. And then Sweden, where Bright is, Sweden has been very consistent, although they dropped slightly by 2 years ago or 3 years ago, but they are still on the top 10. They are still in the Champions League. And then when you see Netherlands, 4,000. So these are the top 10 countries in 2021. It's also similar to this in 2020. Next slide. Okay. What I did here is to show you what is to show you the pattern. So that when we discuss and when we map out strategy for Africa, we also know that success has a pattern, failure too has a pattern. So what we are seeing on this slide is that we took it from 2006, the top patent filing. So and you see that the only point I want to emphasize here is that if you see the rate at which China has been growing, if you see China in 2006, 3,000 patents. As at that time, US was filing 51,000 science research patents. Japan was number 2 in 2006, 27,000. Germany, but see China, 3,000. But if you trace China to what they are today, from 3,000 patents in 2006 to 69,000 patents today. So you can see that the African man, the joke I started the introduction with that says, you consult the oracle. So it doesn't have to consult any oracle. You can decide, you can trace the issue of poverty in Africa. You can trace the issue of hunger in Africa. You can trace the issue of underdevelopment in Africa by just looking at this slide. You can trace the history of everything that is happening to us in Africa by just looking at this slide. And also, if you look at France, France is declining very fast. And you can see that even politically, that's why Mali forcefully extricated itself from the colonial rule of France. Now, Mali on its own has declared its own independence and freedom from France. And France was helpless. So, and you can also see, you can trace it to what is happening to France in science and development. France is been dropping, and if you see UK too, UK has been dropping. Next slide. Next. Okay, good. If you see Netherlands, Switzerland, Sweden, Canada, Italy, Finland, Australia, and Spain. So these are the 15 strongest countries in the world when it comes to science and research. They are not necessarily the G15 when it comes to economic power or political power. But the point I want to draw here is that there's a one-to-one relationship between the amount a country spends on science and research and the economic development of that country and the political power that country wields in the Committee of Nations. So these top 15 countries, they are more or less, except when you remove Sweden. Sweden is not a political power. Finland is not a political power. Australia is not a political power. But the rest, 12 of them, they are all political powers. And they're also economic power. So, which means the more a country invests in science and research, the stronger its economy becomes, and the stronger its political power becomes. Next slide. So what I try to do here is actually to trace. I initially wanted to trace about 15 civilizations, but because of the time, I limited to about 6 or 7. But what is applicable to the 7 civilizations that I trace is also applicable to all other civilizations since the beginning of the universe. I started from 5,000 years ago. You know, Africa was the first to the world through Egypt. And as at that time, Africans are also the leader in science and research. Not many people know, as far back as 5,000 years ago in Egypt, they've actually invented paper and ink. They've actually invented cosmetics. And more importantly, which interested me, as far back as 5,000 years ago in Egypt, they've invented what we call the breath mint and toothpaste and toothbrush. This was why Egypt was the center of civilization. Egypt became center of civilization not because of religion. Egypt became center of civilization not because of oracle consultation. Egypt became center of civilization because it devoted more resources to science and research. And I'm going to prove that further when I talk about the Arab science and technology, the rise of the first Arab and the decline of the first Arab, and then the rise of the second Arab. Next slide. Okay, when you look at Roman Empire ruled the world for 1,000 years. And the ancient Roman Empire, they were the first to build, they put so much effort into engineering research and also science research. People will not know some of the roads that the first Roman Empire built. Some of them lasted 1,000 years. Today we build roads in Nigeria that will not serve us more than 1 year. But as far back as that period, the
Tim, we can't hear you.
That was what they used to conquer probably the whole of the world, minus the East. So Europe, Roman Empire ruled up to Turkey, up to Egypt, up to Africa, all over the entire Europe. So due to their excellence in science research, so they came out with superior weapons on the battlefield. And Romans also invented bronze and they were reported to be the first to actually invented the antiseptic surgery. And also they invented the newspaper, public press. Next slide.
Tim, it seems that your network is breaking quite a lot. So you see this. Tim, are you there? Tim, are you still there?
I think the internet went bad. Am I on now?
Yeah,
yes, you are.
You're back now.
Okay. Where did you lose me?
We're still you are about to start the Greek civilization, right?
Okay, fine. Okay. So when I'm very much interested in Greek civilization, and it's very relevant to what is happening in Africa today, in the sense that the Greeks, they were the first to use critical thinking, logical reasoning, and science to try to understand certain things that happened. Before them, which is still happening in Africa today, for ancient civilization, the unknown, things like earthquake, things like tsunami, things like volcanic eruptions, and those other natural disasters was explained through the lens of religion, through the lens of oracle being angry with the society. So that's what caused tsunami, that's what caused flood. So Egypt, before the Greek civilization, they were also involved in such practices. That anytime there was flood, they would think it was caused by angry gods, the Greek gods. But when they stopped such practices and they started investing in science and research, so they deployed critical thinking and logical reasoning and science to understand that flood can be explained scientifically. Earthquake can be explained scientifically. It has nothing to do with God being angry with anybody. And this is very important for our thinking, our mindset in Africa today, that when we embrace the more science we embrace, the more light we have in our mind, the more illumined our mind becomes, and the better the solution will come up with. So Greek invented the gear, they invented the screw, they invented water clocks, they invented water organs, and they used steam to operate some experimental machines and toys. And most importantly, one of the things that Greek invented was the wind vane, which was used in those days by the geographers and astronomers, and that helped them to actually explore the unknown world. So they are the first to come up with the wind vane technology. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, good. The ancient Chinese Empire, they invented, everybody knows that, they invented the paper making, the printing, the gunpowder, and the compass. China was the first nation to invent paper. Early in the 14th century BC, the decimal or base 10 system was first developed by the Chinese, and the first recorded observations of comets and solar eclipses were made in China. And then one of the most interesting things in China was that when they also put effort in science and research, they developed more than other countries. But when they went back into orthodox practices, essentially religion, they had a period of famine, they had a period of lack of development, which made it possible for Europe, Portugal especially, Portugal, France, to conquer them and take part of their land. But the time they focused heavily on science and research, they also dominated that region. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, Israel. Israel is a tiny country of about 7 million. But in terms of science and research, it's one of the biggest spender on science in the world. Israel devotes close to 5% of its GDP to science and research. And the evidence is all there, because most of the new innovations in science and research in the world has witnessed in the last 70 years of the creation of State of Israel. Actually, Israel has more than enough shares of the contribution. For instance, they account for 1% of the world population, but in terms of a Nobel Award, they've won 20% of the Nobel Award in the world. There is a particular university in Israel, Hebrew University. Hebrew University has produced more Nobel laureate than any other university in the world, even more than MIT and Harvard. They produce more than 10 Nobel laureate awards, all on science and research. They are the first to research into drip irrigation because they're in the desert and there was no enough water for agriculture. So drip irrigation ensure that no water is wasted. Every plant gets the sufficient water it needs, not less, not more. Next slide. Okay, so Israel dominates agriculture, they dominate military, they dominate innovation, all through the power of science and research. One particular example we can use to buttress the importance of science and research is the fact that the driverless car today in the world, the software that powers it was invented in Israel by 2 university professors and 3 students. They call it Mobile Eye. After 5th year of operation of Mobile Eye, the inventors sold this particular software for $16 billion. $16 billion is close to the entire money Nigeria makes from selling oil every year. So this money was made by just 5 people, and they sold it to Intel. So it is that Mobile Eye that powers the driverless car that they use in Europe today, which will become a common occurrence all over the world, let's say by year 2030. This emphasizes that for countries that put more money in science and research, the returns is also very huge. Next slide. Okay, yeah, I've talked about Mobile Eye that was sold for $16 billion to Intel after 5 years of operations. Next slide. So when you talk about US, the rise of US to become the most dominant power or the superpower of the world also is traceable to its efforts in research, in science and research. As far back as early 19th century, when Thomas Edison had a breakthrough in electricity, US had not looked back with investment in science and research. For instance, the solution that actually put an end to the Second World War, which is the nuclear power, was done by 3 American researchers led by Albert Einstein and 2 other Jewish brothers of him. So they put so much money into it, and then they got the government support, and they came up with the nuclear weapon that was used to destroy Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That brought an end to the Second World War, and that also led to the emergence of the US as a superpower. So if you remove science and research from US becomes like any other third world country. So the power of US is actually based on the big scientists it has produced, like Albert Einstein, who migrated from Switzerland to US. Tesla was an Hungarian, but a lot of people don't know, but Tesla actually had more inventions than Thomas Edison. But a point should be made here also that when we have scientists doing research, they also need the marketing skills. They also need the resources to convert their science to commercialize their research. Tesla was a victim of this. He didn't have the resources. He invented more things than Thomas Edison, but people wrongly believe Thomas Edison was #1 in terms of invention. But Tesla actually had more, but he was poor in marketing, and he didn't have resources to convert his research to tangible products. So he died a frustrated person, but he was one of the brains behind the rise of America as a superpower. And Graham Bell, next slide. Okay. So the United States holds the highest percentage of global research and development at 27%, which makes the lead performer in science and technology. And we all see what happened during the COVID-19. The Pfizer of this world quickly came up with solutions. All those things are a result of science and research. Africa needed to wait for US to get to live, which is not good enough. It's bad because we didn't put enough money in science and research. So we depended on solutions to COVID-19 coming out from US and Germany and China. Next slide. Okay, this is the Arab scientists. The period the Europe regarded wrongly also as the dark age of the world. That was the period that Arab actually brought scientific revolution to the world. That was the 17th century, because Europe is a funny thing in the sense that at a point in time, Europe was involved in witchcraft practices. They are involved in too much religion. So they didn't put money into science and research. And so they thought the whole world was like that. So they came up with the period of dark age. But it was not a dark age in the Islamic world. As far back as that 17th century, in Baghdad, which was the center of Islamic golden age, they've actually invented algebra, and the Islamic scientists gave the number system we use today, and they are also behind the algebra. They were so good in maths in the 17th century that they were able to use that one to come up with a lot of scientific innovation that Europeans can only dream of, because Europe was involved in witchcraft practices, catching of witches, and all the rest of the rest. While in Baghdad, they've actually created they call it a wisdom house. The wisdom house was where the scientists, the Arab scientists, that's where they were actually doing practical research, and they were able to come up with a lot of solutions to improve the quality of life in the Arabic world as at that time. But it's so funny in the sense that by the time Europe discovered that the aspect of religion is what is bringing the state down, by the time they separated religion from the state and they focused the effort on science, which led to the first agrarian revolution and the 18th century industrial revolution and the 19th century technology revolution, that time, the Arab world again was going to religion, and they put more emphasis on religion teaching, and they downplayed the emphasis on science and research. So the time the Arab world downgraded the science and research, then their own civilization went down, then Europe's civilization came up. So there's actually a one-to-one relationship between the rise of every civilization and the decline of every civilization. Every civilization that has risen because of science and research. And every civilization that has dropped has also dropped because of lack of science and research. Next slide. There is this Ibn Sina, was an Arab scientist. He actually wrote a book on medicine that was used for
Tim, we lost you again.
Proper astronomical observatory, which allows astronomers scientists in the 17th century. Next slide. Next slide. Oh, as of today, like Bright earlier said, in terms of development indices, Africa is at the bottom. The only place where we excel is in terms of reproduction, birth reproduction. We have the highest in the world, but in terms of all other human development indices, we are at the bottom of the class. How do we progress as Africans? One, I put there some recommendation. Africa needs to jump into the driver's seat of the fourth industrial revolutions and become the world champion in artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, data science, blockchain, cloud architecture, and big data, among others. This is very important, and this is where I'm passionate with, and this is where I'm spending the rest of my life to do for Africa. I have studied the history of the world transformation in the last 5,000 years, and I've realized that at every point in time, there is always an opportunity for any country to be a leader in something. What Africa needs to do now is to build an early consensus around the fourth industrial revolution sciences. If we build a consensus around that, then we can dominate that. Because before there can be transformation in Africa, there must be an area where we are the best, where even the Americans, the Chinese, the Japanese, they will consult us. Right now, there is none anywhere they will consult us. Rather, we depend on them to live. So if they decide that the entire 1.3 billion Africans must die in the next 24 hours, we have absolute zero power to stay alive on our own. But there is a new technology, which is the artificial intelligence, data science, Internet of Things, cloud architecture, blockchain. Nobody is dominating this for now. China is the biggest investor in this technology, followed by Americans. And then interestingly, Qatar is doing great. Qatar is the first country in the world now to build the first artificial intelligence university. I was reading it in this Fortune 500, the recent Fortune 500. They have about 4 pages for Qatar, and I was really impressed. So Qatar is the first country in the world today to actually build the first artificial intelligence university. But notwithstanding, Africa has to mobilize the resources. And if we don't get government to do it, private investors have to take the lead. If we get government, we have some serious African leaders, we have to find a way to work with them. People like the Egyptian president is a serious man. People like Rwanda president Paul Kagame is a serious person. So we can build the consensus around those serious African leaders to actually think for them. This is where the future is. In the next 100 years, that's what Qatar said in this article, that they want to dominate the next 100 years. But for them to dominate the next 100 years, they know that they have to dominate artificial intelligence today. They have to dominate data science today. And they built a university around that solely for artificial intelligence and fourth industrial revolution technologies. So the second thing I put for Africa on their table to consider is that we need 8 modern science and execution laboratories across Africa. There was a time I visited one of the research development center in Abuja in Nigeria, and I was almost shedding tears because we have thousands of research works that have not been executed. So I now say that it's a mentality thing. We have to change our philosophy and our mentality from science and research and development to science, research, and execution. Because there is no point when we research and we don't bring the products to the market. Everything we enjoy today in the world, it's a result of some people sitting down, like Thomas Edison sitting down to research electricity, and then they execute what Africans don't execute. We've been doing so much of science and research and all over Africa, but little execution. So from this gathering today, if there is one point I want us to take away, is that we must begin to preach science, research, and execution as against science, research, and development. This will go a long way to help us as Africans. The third one I put here is that we also need to establish 8 streams of technology where young Africans will acquire modern skills. On this note, I want to congratulate ASFI for the initiative is taken to actually train young African scientists. So we need more of this because the rise of India was actually traceable to the investment they made in 1949 by building IIT, India Institute of Technology. As of today, when you get to US, almost 70% of those biggest technology companies in the US, they are all run by Indians, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Google, whether it's Cisco, whether it's Oracle, name them, they are all run by Indians. And this was not an accident. The Indian leaders in 1949, the elite, came together and they asked themselves, what can we dominate? If Americans was dominating here, Japanese was dominating this, UK was dominating, what can we dominate? And they told themselves, we can dominate software. So what we need to do, they built IIT. As of today, they have, I think, 13 IIT institutions across India, and that's the most difficult university to enter today in the world. More difficult to enter into IIT India than to enter MIT in the US, because once you enter, you know that you are safe for life. Your oracle will come to give you a job before you finish. The other thing which Africa has to do is that we must emulate South Korea and Israel. If South Korea is spending 4.5% of its money on research, science and research, if we want to make a dent on underdevelopment and poverty in Africa, we have to agree today that African country must spend 6% of its GDP on serious. We can start from those serious countries. Let's build models. All African countries cannot wake up together at the same time. If Egypt is awake now, Rwanda is awake, Ethiopia is awake, we can put some of these ideas at the doorstep of the leadership in those countries, that for us to make any dent on underdevelopment and poverty and want, we must spend 6% of our GDP on science and research. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. In terms of recruitment of students to universities and colleges of education, we must we've got enough of sociologists, we've got enough of anthropologists, but we don't have enough of data scientists. We don't have enough of artificial intelligence scientists. So let's make sure that 80% of our young ones going to universities or polytechnics or college of education, they are going there to study sciences. And we can do this not by force, not by decree, but by rewarding people who choose to study sciences at a BSc level, MSc level, and PhD level. And also, it's also important, I want to emphasize this, that the research we get students to do in the university. I'm happy that the Vice Chancellor of the University is here, and Emma Sub is also here, and some other people who manage universities across Africa are here. We must begin to build projects that directly solve African problems. So enough of abstract projects for master's students or for PhD students. We have real life problems in Africa. Let the students choose one of those problems and research into it and take it to the market. I think this is one way we can create wealth in Africa. So we need to change our mentality and our philosophy from R&D to R&E. Next slide. Next slide. Also, our biggest secret power in Africa is the power of the diasporan Africans. We have 40 million of them, or close to 40 million of them in US. We have about 20 million in Brazil. We have 5 million in Colombia. These are all people who were forcibly taken away from Africa as slaves about 400 years ago. When we begin to take issue of transformation serious, we also have to take the issue of Africans in diaspora serious. The strength of Israel as a nation today is the diasporan Jews all over the world. So for Africans too, the government have to create an environment whereby it will be much easier for Africans in diaspora to migrate back to Africa with less stress or with zero stress, and they should be free to choose any country of their own. And probably I am also putting it on the table of the African leader that we must have one passport. If as an African American, someone wants to relocate to Kenya and has already gotten one passport, that passport should entitle him or her to live and work in Egypt. That same passport should entitle the fellow to live and work in Nigeria. One passport, one African passport. That way, we are going to tap into the expertise, the experience, the exposure, and the material resources in the hands of the African diaspora. This one can cut short our journey by as much as 10 years. If it's going to take us 20 years to transform, if we build an ecosystem whereby the Africans in diaspora can come and thrive, then we can do it in 10 years. Next slide. And this is where what the vision we lead in OAI ties with what ASFI is doing. In One Africa initiative, we are working towards bridging the gap between the Africans on the mainland and Africans in the diaspora, because we believe that the resources we need, when we talk about what amount of money we need to transform Africa, we're talking about $1 trillion. But the resources look so huge and so much unrealizable. But by the time we link up with our African brethren from Brazil, from America, from Costa Rica, from Jamaica, we believe that the resources we need in Africa will come through the African in the diaspora. And that is where One Africa Initiative comes in. It is an association of Pan-Africanists, where we are trying to ensure that we integrate the Africans on the mainland with Africans in the diaspora. And to that extent, we've created a platform where we call it Fabao. Fabao is a platform where people of like minds connect together, do business together, and professionals are there, and all sorts of things can be done there. And also, because of what is going on in the world today, we've also created Fabao Coin, which will be unveiled very soon. Fabao itself will be open in August. And all of you that are here today, you will enjoy you to download the app by 5th of August. We are going to have it on Google Play Store. This is one thing we also want to do to actually bring faster transformation to Africa, in the sense that there is power in our number, and there is power in there is strength in our number as well. So the more we come together under one umbrella, the stronger we become. And part of the resources here under Fabao will also be used to develop science and research in Africa, and also to train young Africans who want to become scientists. Next slide. Okay, this is the last slide. I said Fabao by 5th of August. Go there on Google Play 5th of August this week and download it and connect with people all over the world and do businesses together, do the science and research together on the Fabao, do experience together on Fabao. Next slide. Well, I will conclude with the short statement from Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci is one of the greatest scientists of all time. In fact, he was regarded as the greatest genius of all time. He said, and I quote, "Science is the captain and practice the soldiers." It's on this note, I want to wish us a happy deliberation. Congratulations to ASFI. Congratulations to all of us that are here today who have listened to me. I'm so delighted. I feel honored to be your guest speaker today. Science is the captain and practice the soldiers. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, team. Prof Ayo. Over to you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will agree to the House was nothing but the tip and what you say about him is a function of the perspective from which you are viewing him. Please join me. Let's put our hands together for Tim once again. Thank you. One thing that
Prof, your line is bad.
oh there. Yeah, it's raining here, so I'm going to try.
We can hear you now.
Okay. One thing I've always enjoyed is the fact that each time the two of us were to be speakers, Looking at the presentation of today, science, technology, Africa's transformation. It couldn't have been better than this. In this presentation, he elucidated developments globally, the requirements for development, particularly research and development, which he later changed the D. Again, he has warned us and admonished us that we cannot continue to demonize development, and at the same time, we cannot afford to over-spiritualize development. We know the ingredients required if we must develop. He gave us the percentage or percentages of patent contributions globally, cutting across countries, China, the current miracle happening in China that is about to overtake the US. On that same chart, we have contributions from the UK, from India, and across several other ones. But like we all know, no country is ever mentioned. I mean, in Africa, is ever mentioned. And I'm sure you will all agree with me. One thing I keep saying about Tim, I'm not sure he attended most of our presentations since inception. I'm not sure. And what he has just done is just to summarize everything we have been discussing on this platform, from Bright's presentation, the opener for last year, my presentation, Eman's, and the practical dimensions brought on board by most presenters on our platform. Team, we are grateful. We appreciate you. We are encouraged, which is a sign that ASFI is on track. Let me not fail to mention this. You said every civilization came about by reason of research. It is a fact. You gave us the Greek civilization, just like the Roman civilization, and just going all over the world. He went as far as telling us, remove research innovation from the US, it becomes just like Nigeria. It becomes just like any other developing nation, just to further stress the importance of research, development, exhibition, or execution. I didn't get the two E's together, but I'm sure we can just, whichever one, even if we are saying execution is on point, if we are saying execution, still on point. Without taking much of our time on his recommendations, one takeaway there is the fourth industrial revolution has begun. We missed out in the first, second, and third. And if we miss out of this fourth, it's going to be disastrous. Remember the revolutionary heritage that every onlooker is either a traitor or a coward. But in this case, you'll be left behind and forgotten, and nothing much will be heard of the continent. I say, God forbid. He told us the tools needed for the fourth industrial revolution: cloud computing, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain, big data. He also went further to showcase deliberate attempts made by countries towards occupying the front seat. He gave us the example of India, without losing sight of deliberate steps being taken by China and the US towards taking the lead. Ladies and gentlemen, looking at this, Side by side the vision and mission of ASFI, he congratulated us on this notable occasion of the second year anniversary by stressing investments in research, development, innovation, STEM and STEAM. And let me also, yes, he told us again, the need for us to be very deliberate. We know the programs, we know the courses, we know skills that we must acquire. And just bring into the fore employment in the future. The employers of labor, they are saying it's not going to be dependent on certificates you carry, but the skills you acquired, thereby putting a question on the quality of certificates without practical demonstration. Ladies and gentlemen, team reminded us of an app that will soon be released, Pabao, on the 5th of August. Side by side, what team is telling us, those things align more with the vision and mission of ASFI. I want to craft the indulgence of everybody here present. That team should not be far away from us. We are pursuing a similar goal. Come again?
Go ahead, Prof.
Okay. We are pursuing a similar goal, and there's need for us to work together, going by the example he cited, Africans in the diaspora coming together, and even on the platform of AU having single passport, so that we'll be able to leapfrog development and then stop occupying the backseat. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I cannot deal with it all at once, but just to say on behalf of ASFI team, we appreciate this presentation, highly informative, innovative, thought-provoking, and again, targeted at emancipating Africa in general from occupying the backseat to the front page and detailing steps that must be taken. Thank you once again. Let's put our hands together for team for that wonderful presentation. Thank you, team.
Thank you, Prof. I will lend my voice to yours, thanking Tim. It's not a surprise. This has been his life motivation, and the platform he has created, One African Initiatives, is a robust one. Being part of that platform for the last 2 years, I can see his vision to bring Africans from all walks of life, all over the world, to come back to support our continent. So thank you, team, for aligning with what we are doing here. We appreciate you. We'll continue to do so. Okay, we have sat down to listen to Tim. Ladies and gentlemen, what we want to do now, if you see the program I've sent on the platform there, over the last 2 years we've started, we have also tried to measure the impact we are making as an organization to see if our goal is being achieved. And so what I will do now in a few minutes is to present to you what we call ASFI alumni best setters. Those are the people who have been impacted in one way or the other, especially those who have taken the skills we have presented to them, put them into practice, and are succeeding in their areas of career. So just bear with me. I will show it on a video. We have done this to minimize time. So sit down and please listen to our colleagues as they tell us their story of their experience with ASFI.
postdoc fellowship grant that provided by awarded the fellowship postdoc fellowship grant that provided by Islamic Development Bank and the Foreign Academy of Science 2021. And this fellowship it's mainly targeted for women scientists, that the early career women scientists, for skill building in sustainability. The fellowship is mainly targeted the women in the least 21 developed countries that member of Islamic Development Bank. And it's worth to mention that 18 out of these 21 countries are located in Africa. So this is opportunity for African female scientists. The fellowship it's provided from 3 to 6 months postdoc training in developing country. For this fellowship, I tried 2 times to apply for this fellowship, but I didn't success with my application. But after I attending the ASFI grant writing course 2021, finally I success with this fellowship and I got it, and now I'm in my host center starting my postdoc training.
Yes, I have participated in several ASFI trainings. I have actually, I think, been among the greatest beneficiaries of your trainings. And the first course I took with the AFSI was a grant writing course. And after taking that training, I settled down and put across several proposals. And out of the several proposals that I put across, I was able to receive one grant to train participants on grant writing, 30 participants from Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And it was a great success. And out of the people that I trained, there are others also who have been able to receive grants as a result of that training. So the AFSI training has not just helped me, but it has had a multiplier effect.
The grant is a national grant of tertiary education fund, a TED fund of Nigeria. It's a 50 million naira grant. One can ask for as much as 50 million naira. Actually, we applied in 2019. Unfortunately, we failed. In 2020, we are equally applied. The reply we got was that, our proposal was okay, but in view of the competitiveness, we could not make the list. So that was the reply we got from TED Fund then. And after attending the ASFI workshop on grantsmanship, we learned so much from there, and then we represented exactly the same thing, but with the same proposal, with some modification or based on what we learned from that workshop. And to the glory of God, we got the reply this month that the concept note was approved, and we were asked to submit our full proposal, which we have done before the deadline. So the grantsmanship workshop that we participated in, organized by ASFI, really helped really helped in making us to know the nitty-gritty and all that it takes to be able to write a very good and sound grant proposal.
Yes, I had the first one last year, and it's from Feminist Africa, and the grant is to undertake a research on feminist organizing to look at intergenerational gap. And I applied with a friend, but I'm the lead investigator. And I think I got in because after the workshop, I had new ideas on how to apply and what issues to put across, so it increased my chances. And then this year, I got one to undertake a research for an organization that was doing a gender analysis of fisheries, gender-based violence and sexual violence in fisheries community, especially in the fisheries value chain. Yes, and it's been amazing.
I would say that other than grant writing training that I attended and I was able to write a proposal which was funded, I also attended the reproducibility training and the systematic review and meta-analysis training. And I also put across another proposal on reproducibility in scientific research, and I received a grant. As a result of that grant, I still trained participants from East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania on reproducibility, and it was such a great success. So I've been able to receive more grants other than the pro-grant training, and also I've been able to create very, very strong research networks across Africa.
I think the main thing is not like I know it has enhanced my confidence in applying. At first, you are not sure what information to put there, but now I'm so clear what goes into each phase. Apart from the success I got, I have a few that we did not get, but I don't think it's because the write-up wasn't good. I think because maybe the category and the people they were interested in was not, because we had one I applied on behalf of my department, and they mentioned that it was a strong application, but the issues that they were looking at other issues that our call did not fit in very well. So it has enhanced my confidence. I have also built the strength to take rejections. You know, you taught us about that it's not always successful. So I felt you'd be worried, but now I know, okay, it's not because I'm bad, it just means that I have to do better and go on. And as an academic, it's one of the key requirements that we need for promotion. So when I started, I had just been employed as a research fellow. And by the time I was going for my confirmation, I already had this grant on my project, which shows that I was contributing to academic progress. So it has been very helpful for my career personally, and also the people I deal with, because I'm able to impart some of the knowledge I have learned to them. So yeah, and I'm looking forward to winning bigger grants.
You know, personally, in this part of the world, one thing that is lacking is mentoring. Well, like I was discussing with a colleague some few days ago, the advantage that some of us have is that we had mentors, supervisors. I was supervised by Professor Kende Onwochei Okonjo, an uncle to Dr. Ms. Okonjo Iweala, was my master's and PhD supervisor. This man was he's really a mentor. You know, he mentored us, and you know, we are benefiting from that. And anywhere I find myself, I want to, you know, gather people around me, even my place of work here, to share together. You know, because a man who has no successor, he has not succeeded. So I try to do that. And that's why in the mentoring group 3, I want to see the possibility of carrying everybody along so that we can make impact together.
Apart from grant writing, after the workshop, I've been able to be shortlisted for 2 postdocs. I made it to the final stage of interview, which had never happened because previous years you don't even hear from them. This one I got to 2 final stages, one in Netherlands, one in the US. I didn't get in though, but then I felt like it just means that now the application gets better. So there's something I'm doing right, and yeah, I'm grateful.
I really appreciate the mentorship groups that are usually formed after every ASFI trainings. I am currently in 2 of them, and very, very great conversations are taking place there. There's knowledge transfer. People are able to strengthen their skills through the mentorship groups. We're able to clarify issues that come along as we put into practice the skills that we have learned. And so for me, I would encourage you to keep forming those mentorship groups, because like we have severally said during our conversations, webinars, and research tips, Africa is in need of scientific solutions to the problems that are ailing us. And I believe that the mentorship groups are a strong platform for us to do that as scientists.
I was one of the participants of ASFI 2021 grant writing course, and I like this course very much. Firstly, because it's catching tips, the process of grant writing, and it's contributed to my success in my fellowship grant. The course equipped me with the best practice for how to align my proposal to the requirement and objective of the funder, and also how to plan my work, and also how to budget my proposal, my grant proposal.
We also learned, from the practical discussion, because unlike some other ones, other workmanship, grantmanship courses that we have attended, you see, where, we were not taught how to really act. There was no practical session. But in the case of ASFI, there was practical session that made us be grouped into various parts, and then this will help us in writing very good proposal.
What I find different to the ASFI one is the intimacy we have with ASFI, the group work, the relationship you have when you're facilitating. It makes it more family oriented, so you're able to express yourself. But with this one, it was held in a space where the other academics, so it wasn't that intimate. What I also find is that I was just maybe rehearsing the things he had already taught me, because it was like basically everything that he taught us was coming up in those spaces. And there are some things that I know that didn't come up there, so I was pushing. I remember they gave us group work, and then I'll tell my group, so when they're talking, they say, oh, Amanda said this, and they'll say, oh yes, that's how it's like. So just like contributing to what was being taught. So I felt that it was just like an update of what I had already learned. And so it confirmed the fact that what I had earlier before participating in that was solid.
In terms of what is unique to ASFI trainings, for me, what I found to be very unique is, first, the issue of content. The content is well researched and very, very logically arranged. Because for me, I believe that knowledge should be logically arranged for it to help people or the participants. The second thing that is unique about ASFI is the issue of the approach that is used. The approach that is used is quite friendly. It's adult learning friendly, and also considers the fact that the participants that you target or your trainings target are quite busy people, and so they require some level of flexibility. So, and finally, the issue of practical part of the trainings, very, very important, because participants are provided with an opportunity to practice the theory that they have learned and put it into practice. So by the time the training is over, everyone is convinced and actually very ready to put into practice what they have learned.
I have attended many grant writing courses before the one that ASFI. Compared to that course, the ASFI course, it's a unique course. It's well structured, and it's unique in the teaching approach, the combination of lectures and the group work. This allow us to have hand-on and real-time practice on what we learn in the lectures. And also this give me opportunity to contact with others, African scientists and researchers from different professional background, and this I learned from this very much. Also, for the ASFI course, I like the idea of the monitoring group. Really, in the my monitor group helped me a lot during my proposal process writing, and that group, it's continuing now. It's all over the past year. We're continuing, we support each other. And I like this idea, or I like this activity.
Always excited to recommend every course that comes up to my colleagues. I share a lot when it's time for the trainings. I find that not only the knowledge that they will acquire, but also the environment to learn from somebody. I don't know how to put it in words, but then I think your approach that you use is quite different from what we are used to every time. The opening up of space for us to talk. So yes, I do every time. I have recommended several of them to my colleagues who have applied. Some, I don't know, but I don't get feedback. But okay, 2 people, I think they didn't get in, they got back to me, but then I always recommend it and I ask them to keep trying.
Without hesitation, I would recommend the ASFI course for my colleagues and my students, and especially for those are struggling in writing funding proposal. Because in Africa, mainly we lack the training how to write and how to present our idea and how to present our objective or research objective.
I've even been doing that, and I'm sure some should have been participating one way or the other. And for the fact that some of these materials are available on YouTube, I'm sure many have been enjoying that. And every program you organize, I'm interested in sharing with others. In fact, presently the platform of professors of Nigerian universities, any advert you bring, I send to that platform, and other colleagues in other universities, so as to encourage them, because there's so much to benefit from what you have been giving us.
When I took your grant writing course, I was able to recommend, and we were able to have conversations, and we managed to organize an institutional training for my university, Karatina University, where we did a 3 weeks training for my colleagues. They really appreciate. So much has happened since we did that training. People have formed research groups, and there's quite some promising work that is taking place. So yes, I recommend, and even my colleagues, they are very excited, and they keep recommending and keep asking me when we are taking the next training.
Okay, that was so great. I'm sure that everybody has been so thrilled about the work that we do in ASFI, and we can see that they are all practical and very, very hands-on. And this is what we do by transferring skills. And going on to the next section of the program will be testimonials. We have more testimonies from some of the alumni of the ASFI. It's just a short video that we have compiled together for about 15 minutes. So I would like everybody to sit down and enjoy more testimonies from ASFI. Thank you.
Actually, I'm actively opportunity seeker. One day I found ASFI course posting on LinkedIn. This course was a reproducibility in scientific research. And I reviewed the course, and it was the description that attracted me, and it seemed like a great potential fit. So I wanted to apply and learn more about this course opportunity. And the luck I got, it was really a great experience.
Yeah, I was happy and lucky early 2022. And I got to know of it from a research group, WhatsApp group I am part of. Somebody just sent tips and tricks by Professor Mwaru, and I saw it and I logged in. I participated, and in the course of participation, they announced the grant writing course for 2022, and that is how I became a full-fledged member.
Actually learned about ASFI on the Medical Women Association of Nigeria General Platform. The immediate past national president posted about the systematic review and meta-analysis training, and I thought to myself that I would join this training. And that was how I knew about it. And since I did, I've never been the same.
Yeah, it so happened that I was doing a proposal for my systematic review for my PhD. So I was looking at a systematic review in a meta-analysis, and one of my friends who works for a local university here in Namibia just forwarded an email to me with the advert for the systematic review course. Then I just read through it and got interested. I watched one of the videos. Then I submitted my application for that course. That's how I got involved in ASFI.
To know about ASFI through a colleague. At that moment, he was doing an application and he mentioned that he wasn't successful the previous year and he was trying again. So I asked for more details. I got interested, and that's how I found out about ASFI.
Okay, when I went through the first training, that was the systematic review and meta-analysis. The first thing that struck me was the breakout room. That we would be given 5 minutes and we would come back to the meeting and we'll be speaking like we've had hours on that breakout session. So for me, the practical aspect of the training, apart from what we get in the lecture, then we break out and you see different people with different ideas, and being able to mix all of these things together, even when they are not people in your field of research. That's the outstanding thing for me. I could work with anybody. The last one I did, I was with people in agriculture, people talking about deforestation, and I could almost be speaking as if that's my area of interest. So that mix and milling is one thing in ASFI training that I love.
There are two main qualities that ASFI has that no one else can point out. The first one is the approach. Your method of learning by doing is perfect for us. I guess it's a huge thumbs up for ASFI, because at the end of the week, you can look behind and see I was struggling with that or other issue, and now I have domain of that. The second one, I guess, is the relation between ASFI and the people who's taking the courses. You see, I guess, I don't know about other institutions in Africa doing what ASFI is doing. So the empathy is easier when you are talking to people, knowing the concrete, the real situation that they stand on. And I guess this is a main difference between ASFI and the few other institutions that I know that are following the same road.
Their courses are hands-on, and the ASFI also embraces multidisciplinarity. Besides, their approach to delivering these courses also stands out for me.
ASFI is the best because it brought on the ground all African scientists. So it focused on the development of young African to develop the continent. So I'm collaborating with so many countries, starting with Nigerians. I collaborate with those in East Africa, Kenyans, Tanzanian, Ghana, South Africa. It is a lot.
I have friends almost in every country now. I could just say, oh, I'm talking to Kelvin in Uganda, I'm talking to somebody here, I'm talking to Farai there, you understand? I'm talking to Azan, to Tarek in Egypt, you understand? And it is exciting for me.
Question. I therefore would say, without any doubt in my mind, that the two of them.
The standout is reproducibility in scientific writing. Reproducibility in research writing equals credibility of the science. Yeah, So I am interested in credibility. I would not want to do a study just for the sake of passing exams, you know. I'm interested that my study will make a difference and that others can also go and reproduce it wherever they are. So that one really stood out for me.
A big problem, I can't have so choice. I think the grant writing and publishing, but I like the systematic review and meta-analysis.
I guess because of the reproducibility, I was not expecting the quantity of information that you brought to us. It was really I work in the course thinking what it would be. And after the week we spent together, I thought, no, it's a really important course. And for now, I guess this is the first one I'm preparing to organize a seminar to my colleagues, because we are not aware of reproducibility. And we always take it for granted, but there are rules, there are ethical principles that we are always forgetting and never fulfilling.
The art of scientific writing and publishing is a standout for me. Why? Because it was my first encounter with the ASFI. And you know, first impressions, they always count. I paid attention throughout. I felt it was short for me. But to be honest, all the courses that they offer at ASFI, they speak to me. ASFI's teachings and materials is very relevant to their audience.
For me, systematic review and meta-analysis stood out.
And for me, it's really a very difficult decision to make. But two of them, they were stand out for me. But the grant writing, of course, the grant writing, every person needs to sharpen his knowledge to get a lot of opportunity to work on it. So the grant writing was the one that really transformed me and make me a better person.
Excellence in capacity building.
Transformed.
It's surprising. In each course, I end up with the notion that what was I thinking about before? At the end of the week of work, you feel, I feel really a new man. Yeah, I can understand things differently. I can extend my approach to areas that I wasn't even looking at before. And I guess that's the effect of surprise that ASFI gives to me.
I'll say impactful. I'll say it's awesome. It's impactful for me, it's awesome.
Captivating, mainly because the program has been able to hold my interest throughout, my attention throughout. So I feel captivated to keep getting engaged into the activities that the program brings.
Mine will be empowering. And that is what ASFI has done for me, empowering. I've been empowered. I have the right information to use in certain areas of research, and I'm able to transmit that power. They say knowledge is power, and I believe that's what ASFI has done for me.
The information that we received in the training, it was fantastic for me. So I think that is something that will take for life.
The grant writing course for me came at the right moment. And there were so many unanswered questions I used to have about grant writing and sourcing for grants and all the like. I got all the answers that I needed from participating in the grant writing course. And there are a lot of details that I now know, and I am working on being a full-time grant writer
on that one. After finishing that course, already I have proposal, and after that one, I follow the tips already we have in that course. I really thank you for that one, because I didn't make you on it. I applied for the high education, Ministry of Higher Education. Then after a while, I get the fund.
ASFI programs have been very helpful, and that's why I keep looking forward to them. The lecturer, I'm a student at the same time, so I mentor and I'm also a mentee. And as a lecturer, it helps me to have higher expectations of my students and give them the right information. For example, the research reproducibility training was enlightening for me. So I really appreciate the value that ASFI has helped me build in my research career.
Just on my first was the systematic review and meta-analysis. It actually exposed me to the world of research. I've been part of many research. I've done some international research and of course local research, but doing that research or going through ASFI training generally, it made me to know that there was actually everything when it comes to research is doable. It actually gave me the will to be able to confront any research, be it the methodology, sit down and make proper plan. It also made me to be able to teach my residents better. I was talking to a resident today. Bright taught me something last week on Google Scholar. And while I was doing it with that resident, the resident felt I'd known it all of my life. That's what ASFI has done. I just knew about it a week ago, and I was already proficient in it. So it brought me proficiency. It helped me to be able to join other researchers. It helped me to mentor other people, and also to pass down some of the things I've learned from ASFI.
Yes, the programs have really helped me. I had zero skills in professional scientific writing. I had no idea what was expected of me. And yet I was just beginning to think through my dissertation. So when I came on board ASFI, then I started learning the, hands-on skills of how to do research. So that has really, really helped me even to think through, to be objective about what I want, and to really focus on at least one thing and do that thing well. Yeah, so the programs have helped me, and the programs have also helped me to network with other researchers in Africa, something that I really love, because now I know researchers from Nigeria and other places in Africa. Yeah, very helpful.
Of course, you agree with me that these two in particular, these two core values, I would say values, which ASFI has given me free of charge. Yes, I may be a professor. The truth is that knowledge is very wide. And therefore, the more you pick, the better for you. And it also boosts your ability and for human capital development. And this too has actually given me even more confidence in terms of ability to make impacts in decision makings in medicine generally. And that is through systematic and meta-analysis. And of course, in a system where in fact, I can say that I have over 30 papers published. Well, I'm sorry, maybe it is small, but I can say that I have to do personal funding for almost all of them. So where I'm now given that skill to be able to apply for grants and have opportunity or chance of getting it, I think that's actually a very great one, and I feel privileged to have that associated with ASFI.
Yes, that was awesome. Please, you permit me to turn off my video right now. The network is unstable. And like just that last slide said, it says that do not miss out and you should join the ASFI course. I don't think I even need to say anything again, as the testifiers have made mention of how impactful ASFI has been in their career journey and in their professional life. And that is so impacting and rewarding. So I want to still say thank you so much for everyone who's still on the call. Thank you for celebrating with us. And please do join us in our next course. So I would like to hand over to Felix right now for the next section.
I think we'll exchange it so that we can allow the participants to contribute. So what we'll do is that we exchange the program. Felix will come after this session. Let's go to the quiz and social. It's a time you can walk around and take some water, but I will put the quiz on the screen. So please use some seconds or minutes to participate in the quiz. I think these are some questions that will be stimulating for you. So let's do the quiz, and then after that, Felix will come to present the ASFI ambassadors. All right, I'm launching it and it will appear on your screen. Please take part. Please just vote on the quiz there. Just vote on the quiz there. Don't put it on the chat. I think you can vote there. Once you're voting, I will, of course, see it. I don't see anyone voting yet. Are the questions difficult? Don't go and search your Wikipedia. Some of those questions, you can't get answers in Wikipedia. Is the quiz showing? It looks like some people are not seeing it. Is the quiz showing on your side? Okay. Now I see some people voting. Great. All right, let me end it now and see what we have. Okay. Let's see. The first one, most people failed the first one. Actually, African population is what? 1.4 billion. Some people say 1.7. Maybe because we have spoken about high birth rate. Okay. Which African country first had a case of, yeah, you got that right, Egypt. Most people voted for Egypt. Which of these countries have not participated here? I know people will go for Cape Verde, but unfortunately, Cape Verde has been quite active in ASFI activities. Yeah, it is Gabon. We don't have Gabon yet. All right. Yeah, the other ones, you got them right. Let me see this one. The latest cross-border infectious disease. Yes, most people got that right. Monkeypox. Africa's stunted challenge is primarily a result of external interference of world powers. And that is actually 50-50. Some people say yes, some say no. Anyway, it says that the ball is in our court. Let's play it. Okay, it is estimated that a majority of African countries spends what percentage of their GDP for research and development? Or less than 5%, less than 1%. Most people say less than 5%. Actually, it's less than 1%. Most, if there is any at this time that is spending up to 1%. All right. Thank you very much. And I will hand over to Felix to continue. Felix will be presenting the ASFI ambassadors. Felix, are you there?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bright. So I would be opening up my video now, then I would share my screen. Hope you can see me.
We see you.
All right, thank you. So I am very happy to be presenting this because the ambassadors are one of the key engines of mobilization of Africa towards the vision of ASFI. So it gives me pleasure to actually do this. So welcome everyone. So the ASFI Ambassadors Program 2022 to 2023, I'll be introducing them. So who are ASFI ambassadors? African scientists willing to represent the ideals of ASFI and help spread the message of ASFI's vision, mission, and programs within their respective countries of origin. ASFI call motivation for the ambassador program that science is cardinal in lifting Africa from the current development quagmire. African scientists must champion this liberation by themselves. The ambassadors program provides the opportunity for every hand to be on deck, ensuring that the vision and mission of ASFI reaches every part of the continent. Role of an ambassador. It is voluntary role champion the importance of science in Africans' development in their countries and networks, either in person or through social media, is the voice, eye, leg, hand of ASFI in their country and networks. Represent ASFI at scientific activities in their countries, organizes activities to spread ASFI's vision, mission, and activities in their countries and networks. Mentor new and first-time ambassadors from their countries, work with different ASFI committees and support teams to promote ASFI activities, And finally, it's a tenure of 1 year, renewable depending on performance. Following slides show list of ambassadors from countries now constituted. Ambassadors are currently being selected from countries not currently represented. First on our list, we have Benin, and these are the ambassadors representing Benin. We have Ethiopia, we have Ghana, we have Kenya, we have Mozambique, we have Nigeria, we have Rwanda, Somalia, South Africa, Sudan, the Gambia, Uganda, Zambia, and finally, we have Zimbabwe. So we also have the ASFI ambassadors officers here represented, and they are going to be doing their own presentation after this from different countries too, starting from the chair to the assistant public relations officer. Are you interested in being an ambassador? Okay. There, I don't know what actually happened. I think that's actually the end of my presentation. Thank you. So I would be inviting the chair of the ambassadors program to make her own presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix, for that sweet introduction. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Limki Lempofu. I'm speaking from South Africa. I'm the chair lady for the ambassadors 2022 to 2023 tenure. On behalf of all ASFI ambassadors, allow me to present our strategic plan. Our vision statement as ambassadors is that we see Africa as a continent where scientists unite to take actions that will create lasting developmental changes in ourselves and in our communities. We don't want Professor Tim to shed tears, as he said. So we want to excel some way at least. We believe that together we can achieve more. As you can see, the officers on the slide are a cocktail from different countries. We are still open for more ambassadors. There is no fee to be an ambassador, it's a voluntary assignment. So our action plan, as you can see, we have 4 action plans: increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. So how are we going to increase our action plan to achieve our vision statement? We are going to increase our impact. And how are we going to do that? By carrying forward ASFI vision. We commit to provide new perspectives and ways of thinking that offer alternatives to how the African scientific community plan and tackle research situations. We are also going to focus our trainings and engagements to where they are needed most and improve our ability to achieve and measure impact. And then we will go on to expand our research and how by helping to grow and diversify ASFI membership drive. We also want to support ongoing ASFI programs and help to create new initiatives for greater impact, increase ASFI openness and appeal, and also build awareness of ASFI impact and brand. And we are also going to enhance participant engagement. We'll do that by supporting African scientists to better engage their networks and members, and support ASFI's participant-centered approach to continue to deliver value, and offer new opportunities for personal and professional connections. We are going to provide leadership development and skills training to our members, and then increase also our ability to adapt. And how we're going to do that by supporting ASFI to continuously build a culture of research, innovation, and willingness to take risks. We are going to support ASFI to continuously streamline capacity building for greater impact of African science. Together with ASFI board, we will continuously review their vision to foster more diversified perspectives. As already said, I'm not alone, ladies and gentlemen. I work with a dedicated team that wants to see the vision sustained. Let's then hear what my fellow team members feel about being an ambassador for ASFI. Thank you. Can we have the video, please?
Honored. I really feel honored to be an ambassador for such a vibrant initiative. Thank you.
My experience as an ASFI ambassador has been amazing.
It's not playing at my end.
It's not playing, okay.
Oh,
voice only.
I feel upholded, disciplined, gain.
Just a minute, I'll share it again.
Honored. I really feel honored to be an ambassador for such a vibrant initiative. Thank you.
My experience as an ASFI ambassador has been amazing and fulfilling.
Oh, what a privilege to be ASFI ambassador.
I feel upholded, disciplined, gain experiences, and networking.
Hi, as an ambassador of ASFI, my experience was marvelous.
Being an ASFI ambassador to me was my pleasure. I am honored as an ASFI ambassador.
Wow, what a wonderful opportunity for the Africa Science Frontiers Initiative as an ambassador.
Being an ASFI ambassador is not just honorable. I see it as a calling as well to become a trailblazer in science in Africa.
And feel excited of being part of ASFI Ambassador Program.
Excellent. Excellent in building capacity for new career researchers in Africa.
Is excitement. ASFI is a homegrown solution to African science.
I'm grateful to be ASFI ambassador.
I feel honored to be African Science Frontiers Initiatives Ambassador.
I feel honored as ASFI ambassador.
Okay, I will hand over to Edward to present his part. Then after that, I will come back to finally present future ASFI programs. I think for those who are leaving, I would like you to wait to see really the package of activities we have in the year ahead. Edward?
Yes, Dr. Bright, can you hear me?
Yes, please, you can share your screen now.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thanks everyone. Is a privilege to be here. Am I clear enough? Just to be sure.
Yeah, we hear you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thanks, Dr. Bright. Thanks to everyone. I think I would say that I am the most excited to be part of the ASFI. I call it movement, not just organization, because this is a very progressive movement. And if you ask me, I would say, to the best of my knowledge, ASFI has been the most progressive movement I've seen within the African context as far as what we are doing is concerned. So what I'm going to do quickly is to present to all the ASFI Afro Scholar. Now, the Afro Scholar arm of ASFI is what we call a one-stop shop for learning, capacity building, research collaboration, and networking, and of course, giving Africa that visibility. Now, you might be asking, what exactly are we doing? But let me start by giving you the current reality of things, which I believe everyone here today is aware of. As a matter of fact, you know that COVID-19 disrupted a lot of things within the corporate and private sector, not leaving the academic sector, okay, unaffected. So the point is that with the era of COVID-19 and with the dynamic nature of the world today, is that technology has proven that our traditional classroom-based model had become obsolete. And as a matter of fact, in the next couple of years, I can assure you that many people will not subscribe to the traditional classroom model. So if you are still holding on to that classroom model as the only thing you have, I want to say to you that you need to rethink. So basically, there's been a shift. Okay, there's been a shift. So time and space, you know, have been disoriented and disorganized with what is happening. So what exactly is the way forward? For instance, if you take a look at the likes of Coursera, you know, edX and Udacity and so on and so forth, they have this potential to empower people through digital and online platforms. This is exactly what ASFI Afro Scholar is looking at for. So Afro Scholar is an arm, very critical and crucial arm of ASFI that is tapping into this, you know, technology model, okay, to empower thousands of Africa across board. May I say that today, the record we have is that 4 out of every 100 people or children that leave say primary school, you know, get entry into secondary and of course graduate and postgraduate institutions. 4 out of 100. Dr. Bright, am I still clear enough?
Yes, we hear you clear, Edward.
Fantastic. So 4 out of every 100 in Africa, compared to about 36 you have in, you know, in the Northern America. In Asia, you have about 16 out of 100. So Africa is still backward. So if 4 out of 100 actually get entry or enrolled into graduate and postgraduate institution, what happens to the rest of 96? So we are saying that Afro Scholar is here to bridge this gap. Okay, so Afro Scholar is here to empower Africans through our program that we host online. Okay, and this is the project we have. One is online learning platform. One, what does it do? It provides opportunity for academic and researchers to, you know, to stretch their influence beyond the local, regional, and of course, national borders, thereby imparting more students other than the one that we have in our immediate environment. So the classroom model can no longer serve Africans. If Africa today must grow and you know, meet that market, that global demand, then we have to come up with this model and we have to flow in this direction. And this is what Afro Scholar is doing. 2, it offers a one-stop shop access to valuable educational resources that are available within the African continent. Okay, and this is what we are doing. Three, it offers effective interaction and collaboration between Africans, both at home and of course in diaspora. So again, there's a lot of brain drain today within the African context. But if we channel this energy and power the Afro scholar, both people in diaspora and local can collaborate, and we can begin to have what they call brain gain, to remedy the brain drain we have today. Then, of course, it creates a system for visibility of researchers. Many of our researchers today don't have visibility. They're not even known. So Afro Scholar will help to give African scholars that visibility across the borders and beyond the shores of this continent. So the features of this Afro Scholar platform, there is video and teleconferencing, there's podcasting, tutorials and quizzes, user spaces, directory, there's library, there's forum, there's messaging, there's dashboard. So it's a complete learning, the LMS, a complete system that integrates all of these things together, that people can come, access resources, access content, and of course, collaborate. Now, this is our need. We have a need. We are saying that we need volunteers to help develop the platform. So if you're in this meeting and you have the expertise, IT expertise, educationalists in terms of how we can build this platform, you are welcome on board. Please talk to us. We are very much open to collaborate and to ensure that this becomes a big reality. We also need academic, to contribute content. Again, this is an opportunity for you, those research you've been doing, those content you've been developing, to throw them out there to affect our great continent. So we need people to come up with their content, which will be reviewed and of course uploaded on the portal. Then of course we need funding, both private sector and government, to support building the system. So if you're here and you have a link to private sector, to government systems to support this move is one that's going to change the face of education, the face of research in Africa. We are open to such collaboration. The current status and the timeline, as a matter of fact, the planning of content, the structure, and the infrastructure of the system is ongoing. As I speak to you right now, there's a massive effort that has been invested in the planning, the structure, and infrastructure. So we are hoping that some of you will come to partner with us. And of course, the timeline for delivery is by the end of 2023. So by the end of 2023, we are hoping that this will go live and everyone across Africa can access this platform and be empowered. So if you're interested in being part of this great movement, please do contact us through admin at africansciencefrontiers.com. The email address is on the screen, and we'll be glad to partner with you. Lastly, I want to talk about the support for ASFI. As a matter of fact, you know that we've been doing a lot for the past 2 years. So at this point, we don't claim to have it all because, again, like they say, no single tree can make a forest. We don't want to shy away from this because this is African thing. We are doing this for ourselves as Africans. So we need your support. We need a partnership. One of the areas we need partnership is we need volunteers for ASFI. If you have IT skill to help us with our website management, development, please do get across to us. If we need volunteers to write ASFI monthly newsletter, please get across. If you are good in writing, we need you. Social media reporting and management, we need you if you have that skill. Support ASFI research survey. We need your support. We need those to volunteer. Mentors to young Africans. If you see today, African youth are wasting in the street because there's no proper mentorship program. We need people to mentor them. So if you're interested, please get across to us as a mentor to mentor the young Africans. Of course, we also need to be a voice for ASFI. It could be like those you saw join the ambassador team, supporting ASFI in organizing local activities in your country. We are very much open. We need volunteers, and of course, finding opportunity for collaboration in your country and your organization. We need we need collaborators for ASFI. It could be institutions. So you work in a particular institution, private or public, we need that collaboration, okay, in terms of capacity building for local institutions. And of course, we collaborate in training, research project, joint grant writing, right? We can also guide you. It could be a joint program. We can collaborate. Other areas relate to science and research capacity building, we are also welcome. Lastly, before I hand over the microphone to Dr. Bright, is that we are also saying that we need you to support us. We need to support us because all of this thing, for the past 2 years, it has been more of putting personal fund, ASFI team. At this point, again, if you check on the chart, I'll put a link we are calling for. If you check the chart, please check the chart. You're going to see a link. We are calling for support. At this point in time, the ASFI movement must be sustained. I believe a lot of you here have benefited. We need to sustain this. Okay, so please go ahead on that portal. There's a Google form. You're going to see there, fill that form. Whichever amount you want to use to support ASFI, please go ahead and indicate on it. If you want to make payment instantly, do that. And we are sure that this money will be used to reach out to more Africans. This is a progress. And you've seen the testimonies, powerful transformations we've had, and we can't continue. No, we don't want to stop at this point. We want to push forward. So please do go ahead and click on that link on the chat and feel free to support us. And if you need to get more information, please send us an email at support@africasciencefrontiers.com. At this point, I will hand over the microphone to Bright. Let me know if you have any challenge in clicking that link, and I'll come back to attend to you. Thank you so much, and do have a wonderful day. Dr. Bright.
All right, thank you, Edward. Thanks for that snappy one. Please, as Edward advice, if you think in any way you can support ASFI, please volunteer, collaborate. If you have fund to support ASFI activities, we'll be happy to of course receive that. Do it generously, and as you see, we have to push the movement. So what I want to do now, finally, for this evening, before I let you go, is to give you a summary of what we are planning for the year ahead, and then see where also you can play a role. The first thing we want to do is we want to introduce ASFI membership. So far, we have had very overwhelming followership, but we want to, as much as possible, customize, and then of course identify those who have similar interests and share with the vision of ASFI, so that we can streamline our activities to those who share this vision. So from 2023, we are going to introduce membership to the ASFI community, which we believe we create a place of belonging for all those who share in the seriousness of this movement. And we believe that such initiative will ensure that the members of ASFI will own this movement. They will own it, okay? And of course, this will ensure robust commitment from members. And we plan to have 4 levels of membership: honorary membership, those who would have played active role in supporting the activities of ASFI, for instance, through speakership, and then of course, different other activities they have contributed to ASFI. We'll award them honorary membership. We'll have lifelong members who have really given ASFI #1 role in their activities. We'll come back and specify the criteria for each of these. And then we'll have regular members, and of course, we'll have discounted membership. So what this means is that from 2023, we'll have annual dues to enroll members, and the benefit this will come with is that for members of ASFI, we will prioritize our trainings for members. We'll provide them exclusive tailored trainings that will help them maximize their own benefits to their capacity building needs. We'll also provide exclusive and tailored match mentorship. As you see it today, we are helping African scientists, mentoring them. And by the time we get to next year, some of those mentees today would have also become proficient in what they do, and then we can match mentees to them, and they'll be able to support the movement in that direction. So the members of ASFI will give them this priority. And as you have heard from us in different forums, when we set out 3 years, we're going to offer free trainings to Africans. And by the end of this year, we have achieved that. And then we are going to start taking some fees. And of course, we continue to look for funding. And if we have funding to support our activities, we will, of course, provide funding, scholarship to several ASFI applicants. For the members, we plan to discount fees if we start taking fees for members of ASFI. And we'll plan in the next slide, I will talk about conferences. We'll also provide discounted fees for conferences for ASFI members. And we want to provide what we call Research Excellence Award from alumni, those who have been doing great. We want that each year we identify somebody who has, through the experience they have gained from ASFI, have been excelling their career, and we will offer that, but this will be exclusive to ASFI members. The other activity we have starting from next year is that we want to organize what we call multidisciplinary science conferences. In SFI, as you can see, those who have followed us, we are not so much interested in dissecting different disciplines, to make them too independent. I think doing that many times has really made us not to consolidate the power in diversity. So we want to create a consolidated platform through which people from different disciplines, as you heard from those who, alumni who testify, that bringing people from different disciplines together actually has a purpose, and it makes them really to understand and appreciate what each is doing. So we want to organize such a conference starting from next year. Our first edition, we want it to be online, which we plan to organize within the first half of 2023. And afterwards, we want to have it physical. We want to have it physical. All those who have testified today who have never met, want to create a place where we can all meet and then discuss as brothers and sisters. So in doing this, we need people who are interested. If you're interested in joining the planning team, especially in organizing the one online next year, please, we will send out invites for those who are interested so that we can support this program. We have what we call Science Boot Camp. Science Boot Camp. This is something I've been offering for a long time now. We started, it has come from some of you who have participated, particularly in our reproducibility and scientific research course, which there is suggestion that we have what they call Science Boot Camp, which will be an informal physical gathering of SFI scientists with the purpose of meeting to brainstorm and exchange ideas. It will be informal. It's not the conference type, but more of informal, taking a leave from your work to go and meet other scientists. We go out of the city, find a seclusive place, meet our colleagues from different disciplines, and discuss and plan our activities, establish collaboration. So in such places, we organize very specific workshops, workshops in research excellence, quality, reproducibility, where we can establish and, of course, renew collaboration and network. An informal setting where our scientists who can plan and also initiate cross-disciplinary projects, and we can invite industry, see how we can liaise and partner with them in taking forward output of our scientific expedition. All right. So in the first edition, we plan that this will be towards the fourth quarter of 2023. We are planning this, and we will come back to you. But if you're interested in joining the team to plan this, please let us know. We need to find a conducive venue. We need to find funding. We need to find institutions that will be interested perhaps in hosting this. We need to find private sector that will support this. And together, I think if we start such a movement, it will be great to add to what we are doing now. Then next year, we are also introducing 3 new courses to the ones we already have. The ones in black are the ones we have been taking now. But next year, we are bringing the data analysis and software. We are bringing the science leadership course, and then we'll be bringing up the implementation research, moving from theories to practice. Tim, in his presentation today, he was saying that we remove the D and add the E, execution. So this implementation course is important, teaching researchers how you can take what you have researched into real life scenarios. Next year, we'll continue our current seminar series, science seminar series we have been doing. What we plan to do is that next year, we had some topics last year around capacity building and career development. Next year, we are going to revisit them and keep on discussing these issues that will support our career path as scientists. And of course, we want to add another program to that. We'll call ASFI Career Conversations, in which we want to invite those who have done well amongst African scientists, home and abroad, in which they can share tips of how they have grown in their career. And finally, of course, we will continue the Dr. Wanro's research tips and tricks. And for this, please, if there are topics you think you want to know more that are giving you problem, please send your suggestions and we'll take them on board and address them going forward. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for your attention here. And we hope that you will continue to support this movement. Thank you for spending the time with us this evening. I will invite Professor Charles Ayo to give the closing remarks. And after that, I think Eman would like to take the pictures. Prof. Ayo. Prof. Ayo, let me allow you to unmute. You can unmute now, Prof.
Thank you, Prof. It's been a wonderful moment, a wonderful time, and I want to appreciate everyone for the time well spent together.
Prof, we don't hear you anymore. Prof. Ayo?
How about now?
Yeah, we hear you.
So sorry. Let me start by saying ASFI is 2. Hooray. Do I hear you shout hooray?
Hooray.
Thank you. And we gathered today to celebrate our little beginning, captioned Beyond Little Beginnings, counting our first 1,000 steps. Please, you can mute anybody who is not speaking.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot for the information.
We are not finished yet. Prof is still making Prof is still making his
Thank you.
speech. Please just
Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
a lot. Thank you a lot,
Happy
bro.
anniversary.
Please, we are not done. We are not done. Just a little time more.
Okay.
So I want to congratulate the visionary, the pathfinder,
Prof, go on. Prof, we don't hear you.
Yeah, you muted me too. I never knew you muted me.
Oh, sorry.
Let me start by congratulating the visionary, a pathfinder, and in all respects, a Pan-Africanist. Congratulations, Professor Brighton Warum, for this noble idea of ASFI, which we have all keyed into and ready to take Africa to the next level. I want to congratulate also the executive members of ASFI, Iman, Edward, Lunga, Lizzie, the whole lot, our ambassadors, and again, everyone connected to this program. Interesting is the fact that sorry, I'm coming. Yes, interesting is from the speech of Bright at the beginning, setting a target for 1,000, and from that report, obviously, we got more than 1,000. That takes me to the biblical injunction that says, who saith a thing and it cometh to pass when the Lord has not commanded it, and so we give God all the glory. A seed sown 2 years ago, and here we are gathered today to celebrate the success. That brings to mind the popular quote, there is no part anywhere, parts are made, parts are created, parts are made by walking. And that is what, looking back, ASFI has done. Looking back the past 2 years. And again, that is to say, there's nothing extraordinary on its own. It's the extra efforts that make it so. I know quite a number of us connected tonight with the experience of our entrepreneurship and looking at gestation period, you know, the percentage of innovations, ideas that dies within the first 1-2 years of existence. But the story is different. We give God the glory. Again, from the presentation of Edward, talking about financial contributions towards making a better outing come the coming academic, permit me, coming year, you know, being a teacher, we always talk about academic year. And let's borrow a leaf from the keynote speaker of today. He told us of Pabao. That means by virtue of his business, he was able to bankroll that product looking at 2 products. And to him, the lecture is already posted on One Africa Initiative with the intention of making much money that will be plowed into supporting scientific research in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, though our beginning was small, like I said, we cannot over-spiritualize whatever project we are doing. Money answereth all things. I know I'm going to be getting addressed to, right? We need to move to the next level. This is a topical issue that we are having on this platform. And again, the first
Prof, your volume has a problem. Your speaker has a problem. Please, if you're not speaking, just mute so that we can listen to Prof only, please.
Let me just round up. So, Bright, I'm going to be seeing you. We work out financial model that will take us to the next level. Because definitely there is future in what we are doing. Today we may not be happy where we are expected to have been had. But going forward, we need to move to the next level. And we need money to do this. No doubt the programs rolled out for the coming year already a success. I just want to call upon the brothers and sisters connected to this program today to say, I enjoy your work to double your efforts to see the vision, mission of ASFI to making our continent better in our time. Once again, congratulations to you all. Congratulations to Bright. Congratulations to every one of us. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the team that has put all efforts to do this. Thank you, Eman. Thank you, Temidayo Ajibola. Thank you, Felix. Thank you, Lungile. Thank you, Edward. Thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, Linkile and her team in the ambassador program. We appreciate you all for making this successful. And of course, thank you all to you, the audience. Without you, we will not be here. So we appreciate you. So as we move forward, please be in touch, continue to engage in your respective mentoring program and the other activities you are fully involved. Now, those who have been longing to speak and unmute, please, now is your turn to do it. And Eman will use the time to take the picture. You can unmute your volume, you can show your video. Eman, over to you.
Please open your video and it's fine. If you want to show your face, please open your camera.
Backward. It's funny. Maybe I'm not actually there.
Hey man, did you want us to smile or we just
you should smile.
Because we have not been smiling. I don't see anybody smiling there. Except only me.
I'm smiling too. Say cheese, everyone.
Oh, so everybody's smiling. Okay, I see some people smiling there.
We're all smiling now.
All right. When Eman has already taken those strong faces.
One is this one. Once.
Our cheeks are heavy now, Eman.
Yes, okay. Good. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Wish you all the best and a very wonderful week.
Actually, I'm actively